In this video, we're going to build some balance unilaterally. Hey guys, welcome back. This is Grown and Healthy, a channel where I expose you to the culture of physical movement. A lot of times people have a hard time understanding how the foot works, how to balance your feet. But if you really want to develop overall balance, you have to start with one foot at a time. And so in this video, I'm going to show you 2 exercises in which we can help build that skill. Now, balance is a skill. The more you practice it, the better you will become at it. And so this is something that you have to practice on a daily basis. When you wake up in the morning, maybe do a few of these drills, maybe without the weight. But in a moment, I'll show you exactly how it's done. You pick the time that's appropriate. Just remember, frequency is key. The reps mean everything. So in this video, I'm going to outline 2 skills. One is the single leg deadlift, and 2 will be the single leg passover. And so these 2 are going to help build the proprioception needed in order to find out where your balance point is on your foot. A lot of times, if you have flat feet or weak feet, you'll default to pronating, and you just have probably a numb sensation of just your feet being on the ground. That's one of the key reasons why we need to take ourselves out of these conventional shoes, taking them out of this false world that we've created for them and put them in a more natural state. Actually have all the nerves that are in the foot actually getting feedback from the environment. A lot of times these sneakers will block that sensory perception, and so by going barefoot, by wearing at least minimal shoes, you'll get more feedback. Okay, what we first have to understand is that flexibility is involved with strength, and your ability to get into this position, if it's limited, that means you lack mobility, and that the first thing you should work on is actually creating more range of motion in these exercises. What you'll find is by stretching the body dynamically, your feet will start to be able to move in better direction. You'll be able to get a greater range of motion, not just in the groin area with this exercise, but also with your feet. Because what's happening is that it's all connected. And so the tendons, the peroneus, the gastroc, they all have insertion points and overlap other muscles that lead up to the core area and upwards to the neck. So it's all related, and the more that you have in terms of mobility, the better you'll be able to fix your feet. If you're rigid, if you have flat, rigid feet, that is a significant indicator that you are rigid in other parts of your body also. Now, enough rambling. Let's get into the exercise. The first one is the single leg deadlift. Now, why are you doing this? Because immediately as you start this, if you start balancing on your foot searches for the best position. Now, if you have no balance at all, you'll immediately sway from just lifting up the opposing leg. But once you get into this position, you're immediately aware or in a high level of engagement because it's unfamiliar and because it's unsound. The weight being held on this hand means that the leg goes back also. So we're going to go back, forward. Now the weight doesn't have to touch the ground. In the beginning, if you don't have much balance, it will need to, or it might happen, so don't worry about that. It's really about getting the focus or the locus of control through the hips and balancing and stabilizing with the foot. Okay, and we'll do it from the side. It in the opposite hand, and then we'll go down. Now, if you pay close attention to how my foot is moving, there's constant ankle play. Even at this moment, I still don't have, and I don't think many people do, the strength within the ankle-foot combination to actually hold it 100% still throughout the exercise. It'll be constant give and take, constant rebalancing when doing this exercise, and that's why it's good. It keeps you constantly on your toes, so to speak, and it allows you to develop a greater sense of grounding, because as you can see, once one foot is up, then my toes have to grip the ground, my arch has to come out of pronation in order for me to stay upright and without pain, and so therefore it gets the body almost isometrically ready for the exercise. And as we know, isometrics are a great way to build stability. And what does the foot provide us as a human being? Stability. Now, I have done it out here along this guardrail so that you can understand that if you do not have the balance, that you can actually lean out in the beginning, touch it slightly, and go down and come back up. And if there's a post or a pole or a bench, you can use any of these things to help guide you or assist as you start. Now, as you get better, please let go of these things, because we don't have a walking chair, we're not using a rocker or any type of assistant movement while we're walking, so we shouldn't be training or depending too much on assistance, and we should gradually move away from that. Now, the next exercise will be the single leg carryover. And so what we're going to do is we're going to stick one leg out forward, we're going to take this weight in our hand, and we're going to shift it from the right hand to the left hand to the right hand. Now, this is a 15-pound weight. As you get better, you can increase in weight, but understand that this is a significant factor in how you move. Now, if you have one foot weaker than the other, you will find that out. And that goes on to another point of why you have unilateral training. A lot of times we're doing exercises like the squat, and we may have an imperceptible hip shift. We might have other issues causing our body not to work at our 100% potential. And by doing unilateral work, you find out exactly where the weak points are. And especially in this exercise, what you'll find is that one foot is more stable than the other. My right foot is far more stable than my left, which is funny because my left foot is my jumping foot, which is also a bad habit to have. You want to practice, whether you play basketball or any sport, jumping on either foot. It's basically being ambidextrous in jumping. That will significantly lessen your chance of having imbalances and pain from those imbalances. Now, in terms of issues, if you have an issue doing the single leg deadlift, if you feel any pain, more than likely that pain is coming from your adductors and from the inner groin area, maybe the glute medius, which is the excellent exercise for, but mainly the adductors. And if you feel any pain or a tearing sensation, that means that you need to work on your flexibility, your mobility, your end range strength, because that is what's going to keep you from getting into the right position for this exercise. Now, if you have tight adductors, you more than likely have gotten that through having flat feet, through having extreme pronation. And because your feet are buckled in, there's really no other support for the foot other than to strain the adductors. And that's why you'll get a lot of knee valgus when you have flat feet. That's the symptom runs right up to the hip. So all the buckling of the medial, and by medial it means the middle of your body, continues all the way up, from having flat feet to knock knees to groin pain. So the best way that we can alleviate that is by doing exercises like this. This exercise, at practice, let's say this is the only range you can get, that's fine. Keep going in and out of that position, 10 to 12 reps. If it's tight, if you feel that, but just go until you feel comfortable. Don't go outside of your range of motion, just stay within it. And if you can do that, what you'll find is that if you do this 3 times a week, that you'll get better at it and your range of motion will get better. And that's really what we want, because once you've unlocked the adductors and stopped them from inhibiting your movement, you'll find that you'll get more play in your foot. Your arch will actually rise. You can then get into a supinated position or push it more towards the supination instead of the pronation, and therefore balancing the foot. Now, when it comes time to do the Passover, this is really a skill drill, not as much a flexibility drill. So this is really just about getting a cognitive or neurological connection to the activity, to staying balanced on the foot. Now, for the single leg deadlifts, without any inhibition or pain, I would do 3 to 4 sets of high reps, 14 to 18 on each leg. With a decent weight, you can increase it as you see fit. And for the Passover, I would do that for time, not necessarily reps, but for times. I would start with 20 seconds. How many times can you pass it over? Just keep continuing until the 20 seconds is over, and increase that time as you get better. Again, repetition is key with all things. The more that you do it, the faster it develops, the better you get at it. Thanks for watching.